Peace and love, prosperity to everybody out there. This is your brozo of the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast, and we have a very an esteemed guest today. Very honored to have my good brother on here. Um, as we know, real quick, Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. We are here to uplift humanity, and we are also here to assist in awakening us, the woolly-haired, melanated zombies across the planet that is seeming to be waking up. Very happy to see that. Um, and if you haven't already, please pick up my book, B- Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. Okay, and you know that enough of me. Now we're gonna go to my esteemed guest, the good brother here. Please, Aris, please explain who you are, what you do, and and everything else
who
associated with that.
who am I? I what they say? How's it go? I am that I am that I
Yeah,
am.
Peter Tosh.
Yeah. I am.
Hmm.
I'm now. I'm
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
I'm living in the present. I
Hmm.
keep it. I keep in the present. Some of you call it meditation, but I don't call it meditation because most of what is done through meditation is ritualization. I don't ritualize. I just live for right now.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm definitely conscious of the past and the future, but
Hmm.
I don't want to miss this moment.
Yeah.
Don't want to miss this precious moment, especially where I'm at right now. So I said, well, ain't no better place for me to do this interview with you other than where I am and
That's
being
it.
who I am at the moment. So so yeah, actually I was born up the waterway. I
Hmm.
don't know. Let me turn this way so you can see what I'm talking about when
Oh
I say the
yeah.
waterway.
Hmm.
So in the background, what you're looking at is the entrance to the Panama Canal. So I'm gonna go around and so you can see. So I'm on an island. So I'm doing a 360-degree here on this island. So I'm on this island called Toboga. Out there are some ships. They're lined up to enter the canal.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the gateway to the canal. And
Oh wow.
I'm under the coconut tree.
Oh
I'm
wow.
under the coconut tree. So I do my morning yoga climbing the coconut tree. This is a small one, but I climb bigger ones. So that's it. This is like what, like 30 feet, 25 feet or something like that.
Hmm.
So I do my break fast in the morning by having a coconut water inner shower.
Okay.
But yeah, I was born in Gatun.
Hmm.
Gatun is a little village here on the Gatun Lake. So right now, where you're looking, where I'm at, this is the
Oh yeah. He's on the island, so let's take a look. Hmm. But anyway, until he comes back, I'm not sure what has happened here. But yeah, as you can see, he's actually in a he has a retreat out there in Panama, and he has a bunch of students that have come in. So what he was advising me previously is that I guess before he gets his day started, he likes to up there he goes. You back with us? Oh, he must be coming back in. Okay, well, I'll wait till he comes back in. So, but like I was saying, he's on an island, and if you go to sunfired.com, it actually talks about he has a retreat, like a health retreat out there, and he also has students that comes out there, and to just learn from the different things because he has an online academy, and and he was just saying that he's pretty much just walking out there. Peace, whoever showed up. The good brother Aris was here. Actually walking to the beach, and he just got disconnected, so gonna chime back in. But I was just explaining that he has students that actually come to him to learn, the information he's given. And oh, there he comes. He's coming back in now. One second. I'll let him explain it better. Uh,
Okay.
okay, here we go. Oh,
Yeah, I'm back here. Can you hear me?
yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yes. Yeah. Calls keep coming in, and I turned my
Ah,
ringer off, but they seem to still have a way of interfering with what we're doing here. But uh, but I'm back, and I'm just
okay.
gonna hang them up every time they pop up.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So yeah, I was saying I was born in the Gatun Lake uh, in 1947. So I'm now 75. My grandparents came to Panama during the building of the Panama Canal.
Hmm.
They came from Jamaica and Barbados,
Mm,
and they formed part of the groups they call the Diggers.
mm,
These are African men from the English-speaking Caribbean country primarily that work for the Americans.
mm-hmm,
The Americans, they engineered to get Panama independent from Colombia so they
mm-hmm,
could lease a tract of land to build the Panama Canal.
mm-hmm,
So it was built by the U.S. Corps of Army engineer, big steel workers out of Pennsylvania,
mm-hmm,
Lake Erie, all up in that area. And they needed a workforce, or they needed English speakers.
mm,
Brought in the African Caribbean from the English speaking West Indies. So, anyway, my parents were born here. I was born here in Panama. And it's a Latin country, Spanish speaking, but we're living on a territory that's outside of the Republic of Panama because it was the U.S. Panama Canal
mm-hmm,
Zone
mm-hmm,
that they leased in perpetuity from the government that they had set up, and we were the workforce. So the Canal Zone was basically a labor camp for
mm-hmm,
us.
mm-hmm,
Migrant workers at the time, the turn of the 20th century. I
mm-hmm,
think something like 60,000 people came
mm-hmm,
looking for jobs. At that time, Panama was the jewel of the Caribbean.
mm,
The ports, the Atlantic city, Caribbean city of Colon, everybody congregated there. So they came from all over the Caribbean, Curacao, Jamaica, Barbados, Antigua, Dominica, Dominican Republic, you name it,
mm-hmm,
looking for jobs. That was the work site, 1900.
mm-hmm,
So they only employed 15,000. So the others just settled there in Colon. Colon was
mm-hmm.
actually like the capital of the whole Caribbean at the time.
Wow.
Because you had all the Caribbean islanders and people from the mainland, from Suriname, from Brazil, from everywhere. And so that attracted a lot of people, not just our people looking for work, for people from all over the world. So
Mm-hmm,
the Hindu came, the Arabs, the Lebanese came,
mm-hmm,
the Chinese, they've been here. They came in the 1850s. They built, they came during the building of the Panama Railroad. That was another
mm-hmm,
thing before
mm-hmm,
my people got here. The 1850s, during the California gold rush, they needed a shortcut to get the gold from San Francisco to Wall Street.
mm-hmm,
So they ran a railroad through Panama, the shortest. So the British built that railroad, and they brought a whole pack of Jamaicans to build it with them. So the
mm,
workforce were African Jamaican
mm-hmm,
descendants. 1850s built the Panama Railroad, and once the British got that done, they stayed on and bought land, and they started the United Fruit Company.
mm,
The United Fruit Company was a big banana plantation. Bananas, pineapples, papayas, those exotic tropical fruits.
mm-hmm,
They set up these tracts of land and started producing these things to export to Europe and everywhere else.
mm,
And of course, the workforce were the African men that came from Jamaica after the building of the canal. They plopped them on the banana plantations.
mm-hmm,
So we're talking, late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
early 1900s, and then later on, who shows up? Marcus Garvey.
Mm.
Like what's going on here? You have my
Mm-hmm.
people on the plantation. You have to give them some respect.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Garveyites, Garvey movement, big in Panama, all during those times. And so you have that wave of Africans here in Panama, railroad. Then you have our wave that came in, 1900, early 1900. But even before that, you had the waves that supposedly came with the Spaniards during
Mm-hmm.
slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And this a whole nother crop of Africans.
Mm-hmm.
They brought us directly from the Congos, they say,
Mm-hmm.
during, slavery days.
Mm-hmm.
And then beyond that, there's another group of Africans here that Ivan Van Sertima said they came before Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you read that book.
Yes,
We
sir.
came before Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
they
sir.
call them, they're in the jungle. Most of them were in the jungle between Panama and Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
Impenetrable jungle, which still exists today. El Petén. Not El
Mm.
Petén, El Tapón, the
Mm-hmm.
cork.
Wow.
So, the Pan American Highway run all the way from Alaska right away, all the way down to Punta del Fuego down in Argentina. But
Mm-hmm.
there's that gap
Mm-hmm.
between Panama and Colombia, that impenetrable jungle.
Yeah.
So apparently that's where we came out of before Columbus got here.
Mm.
And those guys, our people showed them that there was a Pacific Ocean. They landed on the Caribbean, and our people said, look, on the other side here, there's a Pacific Ocean, and
Mm-hmm.
took them across the isthmus. An isthmus is a body of land that connects two continents.
Mm-hmm.
So Panama is the only isthmus in the world that connects the northern continent and the southern American continent.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been here.
Mm-hmm.
We've been here. And even, a lot of the so-called slaves that they were said that were brought from Africa to work in the Americas, some of the brothers in the hood, descendants of some of these folks said, no, they didn't bring us from no Africa.
Mm-hmm.
No, they brought us from here,
Mm-hmm.
took us to Jamaica, took us to Virginia. But the narrative is, yeah, we brought them from Africa. So obviously that puts us in a position today that we can't claim indigenous rights to these lands
Mm-hmm.
of the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
So we know this is all a fake thing because we're the original people. We populated the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, quite a coincidence that Panama, or not Panama, but Columbus discovers America in 1492.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the year that the Moors gave up Spain, the rule of
Mm-hmm.
Spain.
Exactly.
And supposedly we're the ones who actually brought them here, showed them the way here. But all of that to say, I'm an African.
Okay.
You ask me who am I? I'm an African,
I got you.
and today I'm known as an African griot
Mm-hmm.
based on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm doing oral history,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm into the food world, which I
Got you.
call Sunfired Foods. I'm an innovator.
Mm-hmm.
I developed or created an entire cuisine.
Mm.
And you could turn the pages of the Oxford Encyclopedia of Food and Drink in America, the 2004 edition,
Mm-hmm.
and the 2012 edition, where they acclaim me as the father of ethical gourmet raw food cuisine in America.
Mm.
The Oxford Encyclopedia of Food and Drink in America. And when them folks talk about America, they pretty much talk about the world, because the world pushes America. America
Yeah.
pushed the world
Mm-hmm.
during those times.
Mm-hmm.
So developing what I call Sunfired Foods,
Mm-hmm.
tapping into growing up in my mother's kitchen and my grandmother's kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I developed my food culture or
Mm-hmm.
my kitchen manners.
Got you.
So we talking 5, 6, 7 years old, living in the Gatun, in the Panama Canal Zone during, what was that, 1947. We're talking, the early 1900 to that period, Jim Crow time.
Yeah.
segregation. And the U.S. they could pull that as brazenly in Panama as they did in the U.S. down south.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, I'm walking along. I'm letting you see the village that I'm in. That's the mayor's office right there. So this small little island, only 1,500 of us live here.
Oh wow.
There's the what do you call that? The fire truck. Fires happen here. The thing is parked and corroding. It's a little old fishing village, and they getting ready. The president of the country is coming in here in the next couple of days.
Uh-huh.
So they're putting in all kind of stuff. And the mayor is a good friend of mine. I met her at a jam session.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was passing by one Sunday, and there was a little jam session on the side, and the brother called me and said, grab these maracas, and they hit a calypso tune and
Mhm.
hit some salsa and merengue and stuff, and I'm just having a good time rocking, and there's a little bird in the background singing.
Mhm.
And then the day I went to introduce myself to the mayor, she said, I know you. I said, from where? I was the person singing while you was running those checkerays, those maracas.
Mhm.
So, so it's that kind of village.
Mhm.
And it's only 1,500 of us live here. And look at how, it's nice and tight.
Mhm.
And I'm walking on Main Street. This is Main Street, So I
That's a lot
chose
of
to
action
live here.
happens.
Yeah, I chose to live here consciously because, at 75, I had enough of the world.
Mhm.
I was actually in the Cayman during the COVID incarceration.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I had to break out of jail. And it's like, where the heck do I go in this world
I know
so I
that's
can
right.
get a safe window to view the world? And
Exactly.
by default, Panama was it because, I got their passport. Because, I never saw myself as like, Panamanian. We were like Africans passing through, building another monument to the world,
Yeah.
building
Mhm.
the Panama Canal. So I'm like, I'm out of here. So I lived in the US for 36 years,
Mhm.
traveled the world for 20 years,
Mhm.
practicing my craft, training chefs all over the world. And I said, man, Panama is the default button. I got their
Mhm.
passport. I don't have to worry about immigration or none of that
Mhm.
stuff. Let me
Mhm.
just head on back there because actually I was on my way to Suriname.
Mm.
I said, let me go to Panama because the airports were closed. I couldn't even fly into Suriname. I was going to set up a holistic center
Mhm.
with a group of brothers in Suriname that came from back from Holland.
Mhm.
Suriname, I touch a whole bunch of stuff. And as
Mhm.
I'm talking to you, I'm like weaving into a whole bunch of other things that really doesn't have any relevance directly to what I'm supposed to be telling you about today. But how I got here and who I am and why I'm talking like this today is important for you to know these backgrounds.
Indeed.
So anyway, yeah, I was heading to Suriname to set up a holistic center with the African indigenous healers there. And the African Maroon in Suriname, the biggest Maroon community in the world.
Mm.
And they've been living in the jungles in the Amazon, right
Mhm.
next to Brazil, for a few hundred years, living the way
Mm.
they live today, the way they lived back then.
Mhm.
So I was teamed up with some indigenous African healers and Native American healers, and we were going to set up this major holistic center fusing Sunfired Food with that ancient traditional healing question.
Mhm.
But I couldn't get in, so I said, let me wait in Panama till the airports open up. So while waiting in Panama, I put an announcement out to my people in the US that, hey, I'm having retreats in Panama, March 2021, 30-day retreats, come on down. Oh man, I had a crash landing. 36 people filled up for the month.
Mhm.
And I'm on a 700-acre farm. And I ended up really not being able to leave Panama,
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine.
So, thanks to the family tree that I have growing out of the US
Mhm.
with my people there, they haven't had access to me in a little while. So I came down here to Panama and started setting the retreats and haven't been able to unitch since then. So people are coming here and we do have the 700-acre farm on the Caribbean side in Portobello. And
Hmm.
this is a World Heritage Park. And Portobello is really the home of the Congo community in Panama, the Maroon community, Congos. And they tie themselves directly to the Congos of the Congo in Africa. So that's why it's so much. And I say I'm weaving and trying to, bring you into, why I'm standing here walking here talking about this. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love it because I'm a history buff. Everybody knows I'm the type of cat. They call me Indiana Zoe because what I'm saying, I be just like you, traveling around the world, and if I see something, I like to go touch it myself. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, yes,
I'm getting this lesson right now, and I'm in heaven right now. Soaking it in literally. Okay. So
yes. Go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead. Oh,
No,
okay.
you go ahead, brother.
Okay. So like, because I saw that you're a doctor. So how did that whole route go as far as you could become a
Yeah,
doctor?
well, I don't have an earned doctorate degree. I have
Okay.
an honorary doctorate degree from the City University of Los Angeles.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was honored for having developed Sunfired cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have a PhD in Sunfired Food Arts and Science.
Oh wow.
So being honored by that university and having that PhD for my life work,
Mm-hmm.
it's quite an achievement, to be
Indeed.
recognized. To
Indeed.
be recognized as an originator of an entire cuisine. This is not no little, pork chop corners,
Yeah.
pop-up kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
An entire cuisine from A to Z,
Mm-hmm.
of from soup to nuts, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's based on plant food, not plant based. We don't deal with the plant as a base. We deal with
Yeah.
plant as a food.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you hear that word base, they could layer all kinds of stuff on top
Yeah.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
So no, this is plant food. And a lot of my early inspiration came from, growing up in Brooklyn, in
Okay.
Bed-Stuy, in the hood,
Mm-hmm.
because that's when I started all of this. And there was a book in those early days that really hit me by Hakeem Adabuti.
Mm-hmm.
His name was also known as Don L. Lee. He
Mm-hmm.
was a poet, writer, and he owned Black Press out of Chicago, publishing a whole lot of independent Black books for
Mm-hmm.
independent Black schools.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote a book called From Plan to Planet.
Mm-hmm.
If Black, and it's still available today. The pirates got it on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if Black folks gonna get to the planetary level,
Mm-hmm.
we need to get off the planning space to planetary level. And some of the things we need to do, he pointed out about 8 things we needed to deal with. And the
Mm-hmm.
most critical one was our food.
Mm.
And, stop eating mutated food, mutants,
Mm-hmm.
white food, white
Yeah.
sugar, white flour, white salt, white flour, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big move for me back then. We're talking 1960. I'm in Bed-Stuy in the hood, and you have independent Black school, Uhuru Sasa Shule. And in this Black school, independent Black school, there's a co-op, vegetarian co-op, literally, just like they had them in the hippie communities. We had one
Mm-hmm.
in our community, and it was all about vegetarianism. It
Mm.
was all about, getting from planet to planet and watching our nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
watching our food here. So here I am. Uh, I'm at the dock in Toboga. Toboga is the island where I am, Taboga.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the dock, this is the landing where the boats come in on the ferry. We're 30 minutes from Panama City. 30 minutes from Panama City. And this is my business right here, this building right there, that white and red building. So I'm the first business when you see when you get off the dock. So
Mm.
I'm taking you all a stroll through town, and down here you see this is a border post because it's an island out in the middle of the Pacific, and folks can come in from other places and cross the borders. So they got the aero naval military police out here, and actually they're getting ready for the president. The president of the country is coming in a couple of days here, So they sprucing up and doing all kinds of stuff. But I'm just walking you through to where we have the basically the Sunfired restaurant. You know, this is one of our retail spots here, and we sell a lot of fruits, juices. We have prepared Sunfired Foods here, but we have a regenerative center here as well, and that's really where I'm on the way. But I have to pass through here, so I figure I'll pop in and share with you, you know, this view. This is one of the main big things we do. We have plants here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so these are culinary herbs.
Okay.
Culinary herbs, you know, plants, fruits, and, you know, just all the fresh stuff, all about growing. And this island is a beautiful island. It's known for its flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as people come off the ferry, this is the first thing they come into. And, you know, as we walk up and head up to my village, to where we have the institute up here, the regenerative center, it's beginning to rain, so I'm gonna really make it up there very quickly here. I actually need to let my the young man here that works with me, let him know that I'm on the way up, so I get my coconut water. Ese Alberto, buenas, ¿cómo estás? ¿Y por qué no tienen las luces prendidas? ¿Y la agua de pipa?
Ya está ahí. Es que él fue a la cosa del centro y la estaba llamando para decirle que yo me iba a quedar aquí mientras que ella
Bien.
venía.
Sí, sí, sí. Bien, pues. Yeah, so here I got my coconuts down here.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah, I can see him.
Yeah, we got all the fresh coconuts. So I came to pick up my coconut water here. You know, we pick them right here and we have them available here. El agua de pipa está allá. Déjame llevarlo ahí, ya que tú no puedes ir. Okay, so I had some coconut water. Bueno, voy a llevar esta, me traes esa. Coconut water bottled up. Back to, you know, this whole thing of being acclaimed as the father of ethical gourmet raw food cuisine in
Mm-hmm.
America,
Mm-hmm.
and that PhD,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so we're talking. This happened in the 80s, you know, when I got the
Okay.
PhD,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from the and it was actually one of those universities that it's an alternative university,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, so there were people associated with it like T.C. Fry, who was
Mm-hmm.
part of the natural hygiene movement.
Mm.
I'm talking about sun-fired foods, or what many people today call raw food, plant
Mm.
foods that are not cooked, you know, artificially. The foods are cooked by the sun. So this cuisine is not nothing new under the sun either, you know. I mean, we as human beings, you know, we've been on this planet for at least 1,000,000 years based on recorded history.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen any records of fire, the advent of fire dating back, you know, anywhere prior to say 300,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So for at least a 300, you know, not well 300,000 within that million years of time that we've been on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So anywhere like 700,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So for at least 300,000 years, human beings never ate no cooked food.
Mm-hmm.
We had no fire. We didn't. There's no evidence that showed the advent or the use of fire prior to 700,000 years ago, based on my
Mm-hmm.
research.
Yeah.
So we never actually ate cooked food.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. So all this jerking and roasting and barbecuing and all this stuff, this has been an experiment
Yeah.
for, you know, a good 700,000 years. Way, I mean, I know people say, oh, that's quite extreme. We have evolved. Damn right you have evolved. You have actually devolved.
Evolved, yeah.
You're sicker today than you have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
That is not evolution. That's
Mm-hmm.
devolution.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are more medical systems, doctors, universities, you name it, pharmacies on the planet than ever before. There's
Mm-hmm.
been like a war on disease, but
Mm-hmm.
yet we're more diseased than we've ever been in the history of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And you got all this big attack force, all these doctors coming out every day, millions of them. Not even, millions of doctors, MD, medical doctors,
Mm-hmm.
and you're sicker. Something ain't right.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no need for you to be sick like that. And
I
take it from me at 75, I'm not sick.
exactly. Yeah, and and I
Okay.
love the fact that you bringing that point up because I think about that all the time, brother. Like all the time, especially because in America, and our parents, like my parents, they swear the first thing they want to do to get healed is go to the doctor, and now they got 50 pills in front of them they got to take all day, and I'm just
Oh
like
God.
looking at it. I'm just looking at it as poison. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, but they come from a different era. So, but how about this? So when it came to like, when did you realize like just the importance, you know what I'm saying, of like how you could take the herbs and they can heal you. You could take the food and when did that hit you?
Well, yeah, it was definitely in the 70s, actually
Okay.
late 60s,
Mhm.
when the switch flipped for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Mhm.
I left Panama at the age of 17, straight out of the bush, straight out of the rainforest, straight out of the Gatun jungle,
Mhm.
land in Bed-Stuy at age 17,
Mhm.
going to Bushwick High School. I'm on the swimming team,
Mhm.
the track team,
Mhm.
the gymnastics team,
Mhm.
excelling in all those sports, varsity letter. And I was 1964. I graduated from high school 67. I was too old to be put in lower grade, so I started off in the ninth grade at 7. I dropped out in the 7th grade. Like, school wasn't for me. I became a businessman. I started selling fruits
Mhm.
in front of the school instead of going in and sitting in the classroom.
Mhm.
That's when I started my first business. I
Mhm.
was 12 years old. 7th grade, secondary school, and I got expulsed from school because I wrote something on the desk about my art teacher. Because they used to have us do art like on Manila paper. They
Mhm.
would cover the desk with Manila paper.
Yeah.
I said, like, this is 1960, 1960.
Mhm.
And, a little two on the desk. So me and my buddy, little indigenous brother there, we sitting on the desk and we just scribble notes to each other. And we said something, offensive about the art teacher. So when she saw it, when she was correcting your work on the paper, she expelled us from school, suspended us for
Mhm.
a couple of days.
Mhm.
And we could tell our parents, like, we're not in school. We can't go to school. We got put out.
Mhm.
So we suited up like we go to school every day for those couple of days. And we just went to the bush, took our uniform off, put on our jeans and went to the bush. And whatever fruits was in season, we would harvest it and come back in front of the school and sell it.
Mm.
So mango season, that's what we were doing. So after like 3 days of doing that, we're like, damn, do you really want to go back into the classroom? We said to each other, we're making money.
Yeah, I know that's right.
And we're like, again, 12-year-old.
Mhm.
Back then in Panama, Panama is run with the US dollar. They use the
Yeah.
US dollar here, US
Mhm.
currency. And back in those days, they used to have like, uh, the currency was like a nickel. You could divide a nickel in 5 pennies. But even back then, you could even divide it into 4. So they had like
Mhm.
quartiles, 4.
Mhm.
back then. But so, so like, you sell like $1 worth of oranges, 12 years old, you got a lot of money.
Yeah.
You can go
Yeah.
buy 2 cents worth of sugar, a nap of flour. You know, you could buy a piece of bread for a quati, you know. So
Hmm.
we were like, we're making money. The
Yeah.
movies was like, 5 cents to go to the movies. The concert, I remember they used to have like acts came from the US. I saw Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers in the 50s, right here in Panama, at the big theater for 15 cents at the
Wow.
concert.
Woo.
That kind of stuff was going on. So, but anyway, so I'm landing in Bed-Stuy at the age of 17, and I'm going through the whole Americanization stuff with
Hmm.
food culture. So this is when things started, changing for me.
Hmm.
Because, I'm in high school excelling in these sports, as an athlete, and I'm doing great. I'm swimming, doing the butterfly stroke. Because, in Panama, we didn't have no swimming pool. We used to swim in the ocean. We used to race in the ocean.
Hmm.
So you had to like cruise and do the butterfly or do the backstroke. And then also we coming out of the bush where we used to jump off of waterfalls. So I did the diving. So I'm on the diving board doing all kinds of stuff. And then I'm enrolled in gymnastics, doing all the gymnastic flipping and stuff. And I'm taking that to the diving board. So anyway, after, like a couple of years of eating in the cafeteria, being introduced to sloppy Joe and hot dog and hamburger,
Mm.
after coming out of an environment where I've been eating nothing but fresh food.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's why even when I was mentioning to a little earlier to you about, being in the, what do you call that? In the Canal Zone, this work
Yeah.
zone. And it was a military installation. The U.S. had 20 military bases in the Panama Canal Zone defending the canal, they said.
Mm.
And we living amongst all of that in a war camp, literally.
Mm.
I
Mm.
remember in the 50s seeing like military soldiers like ants. I think they were coming back from the Korean War, and Panama was the landing base.
Mm.
And, Panama was full of prostitution then, like the top prostitutes in the world used to come service these servicemen. Service the servicemen. What a joke. But anyway, so growing up in that and eating all this fresh food coming out of grandma's kitchen,
Mm.
and, back then it was cold pot for us. Yeah, cold pot. And then I think we graduated up to the kerosene stove. I watched the whole evolution of cooking technology.
Yeah.
And the commissary that the U.S. set up, for us, and they had the post exchange for the military. The commissary had 2 doors you can go into when you go to the commissary. One said silver and the other one said gold.
Mm.
So, of course, my grandfather was paid in silver coin, and the white man from the U.S. was paying in gold coin. So they didn't say Negroes or colors and blacks and whites. It said silver and gold. You can go through the gold door because you didn't work for gold coins.
Mm.
So we had to go through the silver door.
Huh.
And we couldn't eat high on the hog because silver couldn't buy you pork chops, could buy you pigtails
Mm-hmm.
and ham hocks,
Mm-hmm.
the shit links and that kind of stuff. So that's what we, so that's why the impact of this growing up in this environment, in this culture.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have access to American food in the
Mm-hmm.
commissary that we couldn't buy, the cheese and the carnation milk and all this stuff, because we're like, man, that stuff is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just eating market food, fresh
Mm-hmm.
food, fruits and vegetables, and food out of our backyard. And
Mm.
we had chicken. Yeah, we grew our own chicken. We raised our own chicken. We had chicken coops.
Yeah.
Fish, we would fish the lake and we would fish the sea. So our fish was fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have refrigeration. It was icebox. So you better eat it today or it's spoiled tomorrow.
Mm.
That's how we grew up in a fresh culture.
Yeah. I can see that.
So we'll pick our fresh ackee, fresh gunga peas and plantain and all that stuff. Banana, when it's ripe and ready, we have it, beat the birds to it. But landing in Bed-Stuy and getting into, the American standard, the SAD diet, standard American diet,
Mm-hmm.
and degenerating my health,
Mm-hmm.
losing my stamina over 2 years.
Oh
Lost
man.
my varsity letter.
Oh man.
Didn't get my scholarship to Morehouse because I was fornicating, drinking wine, and smoking ganja and cigarette,
Mm.
and lost it.
Americanized. Americanized.
Americanized, Americanized,
De-evolution.
Americanized.
De-evolution.
Yeah. So then I go to the college campus, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
out in Bayside, New York, out in Queens, out in the suburbs, because
Yeah.
I was heartbroken. I couldn't go away to school. I couldn't go to Morehouse and join, the top athletes down there.
Mm.
So, but I couldn't go to school in the inner city, go to college in the inner city. So I called myself going away to college by going into the suburb in Queens and Bayside,
Mm-hmm.
taking a bus and a subway and a couple of buses to get there every
Oof.
day and coming back to the hood at the end of the day. But out there on the campus, I met up with the hippies.
Okay.
And we're talking 67, 68,
Mm-hmm.
69. And of course, the radicals,
Okay.
and of course, John Carlos and what's going on in the Black Power movement, the protests in Mexico from the Olympics, raising the black fist. And then, the King impact in the inner city, all of these things. So I'm living this live. The Nation of Islam, Malcolm X, all this stuff
Mm-hmm.
going on.
Yeah.
And, sitting in, taking over universities, Kent State University, sitting in the president's office
Mm.
with rifles and stuff.
Mm.
The Black Panther Party, the Black Liberation Army, the Symbionese Liberation Army, the Puerto Rican movement, all of this stuff. So the radical movement, the liberation movements around the world, the African liberation movements, the Battle of Algiers, all of this
Mm-hmm.
stuff going on, the Cuban Revolution. So I'm in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of all of this. And my revolution becomes the food, because I've seen how I became a victim of the standard American diet, the sad diet.
Yeah.
I got heart murmur from being a
Mm.
star athlete, eating all this garbage, don't cook tonight, called Chicken Delight, the first chicken fast food operation in the US. Watching McDonald's, the arches like, over 1 million sold. And they stopped counting after a while. They used to tick every arch, they tick like, we sold 8 million. We sold 10 million. And they stopped running the tick because they got into real estate and not food,
Yeah.
and selling you garbage so they can own real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how that's moved on today. And we see it very left, front, and center in our communities. Goddamn thing
Mm-hmm.
about slutty burger. What the
Mm-hmm.
heck is a slutty burger? Why are you a slut? Why do you want to be a slut? Why do you want to eat slut? Why do you want to eat that kind of fake meat?
Mm.
So here I am as a vegetarian growing up in the hood,
Mm-hmm.
and we talking about, back in the 60s, back in the 70s, let's not eat these foods. These are weapons.
Yeah.
They've been further weaponized.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the investors in Slutty Burger. And I'm talking from my heart, from my soul, from my spirit.
Yeah. Speak, brother.
Yeah. And it's all in our communities now.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some prominent brothers, entertainers that are signing up with this stuff and pushing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we got nanoparticles in them burgers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole nother technology in there. Forget GMO.
Mm.
All this fake meat. We don't want to go beyond meat.
Mm-hmm.
We never got to meat.
Mm.
So this beyond meat and all of this stuff that's banned in Europe
Mm.
and it's big in the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, what, like Louisiana fried chicken wasn't enough. All these fake fast food operations in our community, owned by who, actually?
Mm-hmm.
Who the heck is Bill Gates investing in
Yeah.
this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and buying up all the farmland.
Yep.
And we got a big hero in our community selling a slutty burger.
Mm.
Like Wakanda wasn't enough. You got a Wakanda hero that dies of cancer.
Mm.
Where was this brother's mind at?
Exactly.
And he shoots himself down with cancer, weaponized, eating weapons. Let's bring it center stage.
That's the truth, man.
This is a revolution.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people, they look at me and they hear from me and they think, oh, the little raw food passive brother. No,
Mm-mm.
I'm a revolutionary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't go down. I didn't go down with the Black Panthers. I'm still up.
Mm-hmm.
So he even called the damn movie the stuff the Black Panther. What the heck is going on? Who are
Mm-hmm.
the original Black Panthers? Who rise up in our community with guns and protecting us against the police?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, building Wakanda, all of that. I mean, it's good, positive stuff. I've got no, but it's amazing how our hero guns himself down with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Mm-hmm.
hero, busy
Yeah.
making money. For who?
Mm-hmm.
Food.
There's always a twist to everything that they put on the cinema. You know what I'm saying? Every aspect of it. There's always prime example is Chadwick when he passed away from cancer, and
Yeah,
they got all that positive imagery, and now he's gone from cancer.
he's gone.
You know what I'm
He's
saying?
gone. But there's some positive imaging out there now.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's not forget Dick Gregory.
Yeah. Yes,
Let's not
indeed.
let's not let's not forget Cicely Tyson,
That's
the
indeed. Yep.
longest living vegetarian that I
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
over 60 years of being what you call a vegan, eating no
Mm.
animals, Cicely Tyson. And she rocking into her 90s, still on stage the day she passed away.
Mm.
Still hard, and don't go out with no cancer or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Look at Dick Gregory from 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Man saved his life. Dr. Arvenia Fulton saved his life, put him on raw food,
Mm.
drew him down. And look at his contemporary, Godfrey Cambridge. He was also 300 pounds, another Black comedian. They both was commanding the stage at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Godfrey Cambridge died of a heart attack on the set, filming The Raid on Entebbe, that Israeli movie.
Mm.
He was playing Idi Amin.
Oh
And
wow.
Dick Gregory went on to live a glorious life.
Indeed.
Bless our ancestor, one of my major influencers
Mm.
with what I'm doing with Sunfired Foods, all raw food, all living cuisine, plant food. So it's good to get this position to share with you today, to be able to speak out,
Mm-hmm.
because a
Indeed.
lot of us are not speaking out. There's some gaps
Mm-hmm.
between the 60s and the 20s,
Mm-hmm.
the 2000s. From
Mm-hmm.
1960 to 2020, there's been some huge gaps in our history. So how do we get here?
Mm-hmm.
How do we go beyond meat?
Yeah.
And we in the 60s, we neutralized the meat department. We literally put the cattle industry out of business. That the government have to subsidize cattle's. They're producing meat at a cost that is not profitable, and the government is paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can eat death, weaponized food.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not even talk about the water. That's a major weapon.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in Detroit, that was nothing.
Yeah, it was nothing.
And that
Yeah.
should be a wake-up call. Why the heck you drinking that water anyway?
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't heard the reality of food and consumption till you get it from a revolutionary point of view.
Yeah.
We didn't get into this in the 60s trying to save no damn bald eagle or no zebra, no
Mm-hmm.
animal rights movement or
Mm-hmm.
spirituality. We were trying to save our damn black bald heads or our Nazi heads or Afro heads. It was an act of self-defense, eating the way that I eat. And we're talking 53 years now of not consuming any animals,
Mm-hmm.
not shooting myself in the hip with starch, having to have a hip replacement,
Yeah.
not eating carcass animals that are putrefying in our system and giving us cancer.
Mm. You, you know, in this is interesting to me, because you brought up the water, and also obviously we're talking about food, but and you hear all the time, the fear mongers, you know what I'm saying, on TV. Oh, there's gonna be a food shortage, you know what I'm saying, and all these different things. But you know, I'm gonna give you a short little thing, little story. When I went to Haiti, right? You know, I went outside and there was mangoes, all the stuff falling over the place. It was fly season. It
Please,
was fly season
please,
because
please.
the the flowers all around the place. And I'm saying to myself, I'm just looking around because obviously I'm not in America. I'm in Haiti. I'm looking around. I see food everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Literally, and probably most of the food I haven't even recognized because I just don't know it. I haven't studied up to see what the food is. How in the hell do you have a food shortage when this you can go out, you can eat acorns. There's so many things out there that's in front of us that we can eat that are more healthy than all this garbage. You know what I'm saying? What is that about?
Well, number one,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, uh, we were blessed with a food factory.
Mm-hmm.
Nature created food in a factory setting.
Mm.
So yeah, you're talking about the mango.
Yeah.
Let's talk about avocados and
Mm-hmm.
peaches and pears. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about watermelon.
Yeah.
These are food factories.
Mm.
An avocado tree is a factory.
Mm.
Every single avocado tree can yield a good solid 300 avocados plus every year.
Good gracious.
And we don't have to do nothing. We don't have to
Mm-hmm.
toil the land. We don't even have to climb the damn tree. As you said, the mangoes are falling on the ground everywhere
Mm-hmm.
like carpet. That's how I grew up in the rainforest.
Yeah.
Food should be a human right. We should not be
Mm-hmm.
buying food.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, yeah, go ahead and buy you one tomato. Well, you should not buy no more tomatoes for the rest of the life. You're supposed to throw those seeds
Mm-hmm.
in your backyard, or you're supposed to have
Yeah.
tomato vines running you out of town. Watermelon.
Mm-hmm.
You get a few watermelon seed and drop those in your backyard. You have watermelon vine busting through the damn fence and going a
Yeah.
mile up the road, down feeding your neighbors as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we left the land. Yeah,
Yeah.
40 acres and a mule.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of joke was that?
Yeah.
And then they rip off all the little acres that we bought. Repossession and taking it for this, taking it. Look at Jackson, Mississippi today. What a
Yeah.
shame.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of farmland we used to own down there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now we can't even get decent water to drink down there.
Mm-hmm.
All over the place. So yeah, the planet should be damn overrun with food. There should be no such thing as food shortage.
Yeah, not even close.
Unless you went ahead with the plan and got corralled into an urban neighborhood
Yeah.
and there's only enough food in the supermarket to last for a week before they run out. Damn
Mm-hmm.
right you're gonna have a food shortage if you plugged into that, food cartel, gangsterism,
Mm-hmm.
all this packaged processed food. You need to be
Yeah.
eating fresh food, market food, fruits and
Mm-hmm.
vegetables, food that would break down, that would spoil, nothing that's preserved.
The preserved, yeah. It's interesting because I talk about all the time how I had arthritis in my hip, and back in the day before I got this knowledge, what I'm saying, I thought I was eating right, but I got on point with some good information because of good brothers out there, Dr. Africa, Dr. Sabi, etc.
Oh
And
yes,
so on and so on. And I healed my arthritis literally by changing my diet.
that's
You
it.
know, that it was literally that simple. You know, um, and you know, and well, I wanted to ask you a quick question. In addition, and this is study I'm something to study more into. In addition to like the food aspect, when it comes to like fasting, is that something that you do?
Of course,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah. And what are the benefits? Because what are the benefits of fasting? And like, what would you say that what would be the best way to fast?
Well, okay, let's start off on a basic fundamental level. And
Hmm.
looks like we're gonna get into the meat of this conversation here right now.
Okay.
So what I'm doing here, and if you allow me, because the phone that I'm on, the battery is looking to give out on me.
Okay. No
So
worries.
I'm going to go to the link. I'm at my computer. I'm in my office. You see,
Okay.
I got the library behind me now.
Yes, sir.
So I'm in the computer. I'm in the office. I'm at the computer, and I'm going to sign in from the computer.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm doing now.
Okay.
I'm logging in. Uh, Allow mic access here. Uh, let's see. Allow.
Yeah, you should just pop
Okay.
up right next to you on my end.
Yeah. Okay. So here I am here, and I'm going to enter the studio here. Okay. So let me turn this other one off.
Okay. Now, quick question. Let me ask you this real quick. Are you gonna? Can you hear me first off?
I can hear you quite well.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
And now, are you able to charge your other phone by chance?
The one that I'm on, that I was on.
Yes, sir. I'm just wondering because I was gonna say you can, since we about to get into the meat and potatoes, you could if you wanted to go to IG Live, we could do that as well. But it's up to you.
IG Live with the other
Yes.
phone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me grab the cable and
Okay.
plug it in right to the computer here.
Mhm. Yeah, because I this first part of information, man, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm still,
Let me grab the cable. Let me see where I put my bag
see,
here.
and while he's gone, see, this is I just learned so much new information that I have no idea. And y'all that watch me, I love information, learn new stuff. And I had no, I mean, I heard about the Panama Canal being built and all that kind of stuff, but you never hear the backstory. You know what I'm saying? The people that lived there during the times and, you know, the whole experience and just connecting the time frames he was talking about, like, the 40s and just thinking about all the stuff that happened, with, dealing with World War II and the British colonizing and people going on. It's amazing to be. It's an honor, literally, to be able to speak to someone and that what I'm saying, that was there. You know what I'm saying, that actually saw all of this and is still still rolling with this today because it's a everything he just talked about. You know what I'm saying? It's history. You know what I'm saying? It's really our history and in addition to that, talk about the Panama Canal because you hear about all that, but you don't hear about the backstory, the families, the people coming there, the indigenous people. And one thing that the brother was saying is that I always thought that it was really interesting because we hear that we had the paper. A lot of my guests talk about the pencil genocide um, that happened in America from the American Indians, to the Negroes, turning into the Negro. But the brother was breaking down earlier. He was saying it's pretty much the same thing that's happened over there because the indigenous people that were in the bush, they were they look like us, but now they can't even claim it because now they're something else. So it's, that what do you call it? The pencil genocide. It's been it's looks like it's been going, just spreading everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Since the reclassification, what I'm saying, of the indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? And so that's, whew, man, this conversation right here. I'm loving this. Yeah, we're just waiting for the brother to get his cord on so he can go over to IG Live. Actually, let me do that too. While I'm running flapping my gums, let me get that set up so we can get on here together.
Yeah, I'm here with you, brother. I'm listening. I'm hearing with you. I got to go get a tripod
Oh,
for
it's
the
all
phone.
good.
Yeah, for the direct. So just keep on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, and well, just like I was kind of breaking down earlier, and that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to, one of the reasons why I wanted to build with the brothers because a lot of things that are happening right now in our community, because you hear people, you know, um, I remember I heard Kanye West. He was talking about what's that lady, Lizzo, right? Um, and the Lizzo, I guess, from what I've seen, she's an overweight sister, but it's like health is looked at a certain way in which, you know, the like he was saying earlier, being Americanized and having being the template of being Americanized, being out of shape overweight. Because you go to different places around around this planet, and they don't eat like we do in America. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, when I was living in London, what I'm saying, you can't get a gallon of milk. You know what I'm saying? You can't get these different things. They don't. It's way different. And he, like a brother was saying earlier, this food's. I think he was saying something about Beyond Meat or something else, but some of this stuff is banned in other countries because what's in it? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, just think about that. You know what I'm saying? You got that you can't even, other countries you can't even, the food can't even go over there. So what is it we're eating now? You know what I mean? What is it that what is it, what is it that, why is this food getting banned? You know what I'm saying? And, very difficult to ban raw food, something that falls right off a tree that, you can't even make more money off, or you can't make people more sick. It's all a part of it. It's sad. Hold on a second. Let me bear with us while we get this set up, because brother Iris, I'm getting mine set up on. Um, oh, there we go. So part one of this was the history, and now we're gonna get into the. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. Let me sit down because we're rolling today.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay,
Okay.
let me get this set up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you want to go to IG.
Yes, sir. You can if you go to, actually, let me go live first, and if let me know in your IG. You just have to go to Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast, and just go live with me. Or
Okay,
unless you want to go live, and then actually you can go live and I can request. Yeah, you go live and I'll request you.
it's on Aris Latham, Aris underscore Latham here.
Okay, Aris underscore Latam. Okay.
Okay, let's
Yeah, if you
see.
go live there, and I'll just request to join you. So let me go. That'll probably be the easiest way. Aris underscore. Yeah, just bear with us, everybody. We getting everything. We had a nice build. The brother was he was at the ocean, Panama Canal, and he just walked back. It was like a 30-minute walk. You know what I'm saying? Looks from where he was doing his workout, his morning workout slash break fast, and now he's back in the office. So we setting it up on.
Let me see. What do I do here? So let me not. I can't figure out. So when I hit the
Oh,
plus sign,
yeah, press the plus sign. Uh-huh. And
it
at
says
the
new post. How do I get out of the new post? Oh, live. I see
yeah,
it.
like yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Here we are.
All right, so you can go live.
Here. Let me just.
But
Okay. So I'm going to go live on my IG here.
yes, sir.
And let me turn the computer also so I can be facing. Yeah.
Hey
This.
man, you pretty seasoned. I see, huh?
Well,
Some people.
look, I'm actually, what I figured out is that when I became, I think it was 70.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I started living the second half of my life. So I'm like
Got
about
you.
5 years old right now.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm up to date with a lot of the technology. Most people 75. So I can't call myself 75 because then they're gonna associate me with being old.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm on the second half of my life. So I just got a whole new concept on living. So it took me 70 years to grow up and figure out a whole bunch of this stuff. Now I got another 70 years to live it.
There you
So I'm
go.
just like, I'm just a kid.
That's it.
Look, you see, I got a chop here on my above my forehead. You see that?
Yeah.
You saw where we started off
Uh-huh.
down by the mud pit. Last
Uh-huh.
week, Tuesday, I was down there with a group of 25 folks that came from the US. And
Uh-huh.
we were doing the mud up and stuff, and I'm all excited. you know, acting like a kid, and I had the wrong footwear on, and I started running and slipped and fell and
Uh-oh.
landed on a rock and
Oh
busted my
man.
head right here. Yeah, busted the head, and I was gushing blood just
Oh,
coming
wow.
out, just pouring out, and I got a hit right here under the eye.
Hmm.
So I felt like a kid back in the jungle all over again.
Exactly.
I mean, that's all we got as kids, a whole bunch of
Yep.
bumps and
Beat up.
bruises, falling off the cliff, hanging on the side of a tree limb or something like that, all beat up and
Hmm.
ripped up. So yeah, I'm like a little 5-year-old kid out here. So you saw me this morning. I took 2 sisters over there and
Hmm.
set them up so we could have this time together. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm ready for IG Live.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna hit that button and then you can come in.
Yes,
And
sir. I'll just wait on you. Yeah.
okay,
So for the
I'm,
people that joining, yeah,
I'm
for
now
the
live on IG,
okay. Let
and
me
we
let me
may,
find you. Oh, there you
I,
go.
yeah, we may get a feedback from
Oh
this
yeah,
other.
you got to you on yeah you got to turn down. Let me. You got to
What do I
turn
do?
down just turn down your phone. I've just sent a
Well, I'm
request.
on the computer with you,
Yeah.
so the volume on the computer is pretty high
Okay, I
on
see what you're saying.
IG.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but uh, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let me put on the headphones for the phone
Okay.
and see what happens,
Yeah.
uh, so that I'm speaking directly into the phone.
Did you see my request?
Uh,
It should be a little red button that you have to press.
yeah, I see the red button. I see
Yeah.
it. Your polka dot. Okay,
Yeah, that's
accept.
it. Hmm.
Okay, accepting polka dot coming in.
All right, I'm coming in.
Family, IG family, let you know where I'm at. I'm right now on a podcast with the polka dot rabbit hole polka dot.
Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. Go down the rabbit hole, but yeah, Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, so we've been a good hour at it or so, you know, and I gave the history, the background of how I got here, and now that I'm here, we want to get into the meat of why I'm not sick and all these other things, and
Exactly.
why I've lived once a man and now I'm living twice a child, and why
Hmm.
I'm 5 years old and not 75, years young, you know,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
when we're young we old, and when we old we're supposed to be young, but
Hmm.
somebody flipped the dial on us, and a lot of us, living old, we're like, waiting for on death row, to get out of here.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
just beginning to live here.
I love it, man. Yeah, my mom the same way. She actually, when it comes to technology, all this stuff, she just, she's just at it. She talking about, I'm young, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? Hey, mom, hey, I'm with you. Roll with it. Um, just like the brother was saying, we were at it an hour on YouTube earlier. This is your brozo from the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast, and if we're gonna get into it, we're gonna get into it real hard because if y'all missed the previous part because the brother was walking here and like he said, he had to drop some people off. He was walking there. It was a good 30 minutes, but we've been on it a good hour on YouTube, and now he's sitting down. So we're gonna go to another part of. But let me give you his IG family and my IG family. You know what I'm saying? Please, if you haven't, go to
Okay.
polkadot.rabbitpodcast.com. Check out my book and Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast to introduce it to y'all. We're just here to uplift humanity, you know what I'm saying, and just really assist people in elevating and growing and see where they are in life on this time. Please like the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Please share it. You know what I'm saying. Share this, and that's it with me. I'm gonna let the good brother speak because we were getting it in. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Well, basically, we came to the point about, why we should not go beyond meat,
Mhm.
because we should never even been at meat to begin with.
Mhm.
But, this is all about linguistics.
Yeah.
I have a master's degree in linguistics, or earned
Mhm.
master's degree in linguistics. And I had a master professor that is still my master professor, a
Mhm.
brother by the name of Sweet Ernie.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Cal State Fullerton. For those of you out there, shout out to my LA family. I went to Cal State Fullerton and did my master's degree under Sweet Ernie, Dr. Ernie Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And Ernie Smith, as a black linguist, back in the 70s when I was on the campus, during those times, it was about black English versus Ebonics.
Mm-hmm.
So the word the word sound power has been a crucial thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as a linguist, I'm very careful about the words that I use to describe anything. That's why even with my cuisine, I don't use the word raw food because there's nothing raw about apples, lettuce, tomatoes, peaches, nectarines, you name it. Our food is cooked by the sun.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is the chef, the universal chef on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to call a fully ripened banana a raw food, it's an insult to that great engineering work by God. Because the sun is mostly the most tangible God-like energy that we can actually feel, and everybody on the planet can witness that this is a God force. So when that sun comes through my neighborhood, through my little island, comes through the ghetto, come through uptown, go through Beverly Hills, and cook our food, cook our cherries. When the cherry tree blossoms in Washington, D.C., the pot is on. And when you got that big, black, sweet, ripe, juicy cherry, it's well done. It's cooked to perfection. Who cooked this food? The sun. And there's nothing raw about that cherry. There's nothing imperfect about that cherry. And it's a very meticulous process. And we know that it's predictable. And that's why I even use the word linguistics when we got to get into this part of it. Because we as a people, African people around the world, we have been pigeonholed into calling our languages pidgins and patois and Creole. That's an implication that our languages are, if you look at the definition of a Creole, of a patois, of a pidgin, in the dictionary, it's a bastardized European language by an African tongue.
Yeah.
But brother Dr. Sweet Ernie, when he said, no, we don't speak pidgin, we don't speak Creole, we speak Ebonics. The definition of Ebonics is ebony and phonics, Ebonics, black sounds.
Black sounds, yeah.
So whether you're in Lagos, Nigeria, you're in Trinidad, you're in Panama, you're in Bed-Stuy, and you say something like, man, what you be doing at 3 o'clock in the morning when I come by your house? We are not speaking English. We're using English words, but we're using an African concept. The past, continuous, and present future. Where you be at 3 o'clock in the morning when I come by your house? I mean, where was you last night, the night before, and any night that I've come by your house and could be coming by your house at 3 o'clock in the morning? We speak in African languages. When my child say must and not must, my child is speaking an African language, it's African sound. Because there's no consonant cluster at the end of the word in any African language. And if there is a consonant cluster, we get rhythmic about it. We start clicking. We don't go must. So to tell my child that you don't speak English, you don't speak proper English, that you don't pronounce the T at the end of this consonant cluster. No, it never existed in my child's language repertoire.
Exactly.
So he's speaking an African. So my child should be classified as a bilingual speaker. Because when he's at home, growing up in the hood, in social isolation, we automatically speak, Ebonics to each other. But when we go in the classroom, we code switch and we speak standard American English like we hear on TV. So we bilingual.
Yeah.
So this is all the stuff. So, but bringing it to food, looking at Ebonics, looking at linguistics through food, even the whole medical system, how they really deal with us and use medical legalese on us, and will call a certain condition of the body, like a female having, some issues during her menstrual time, and they call it a cramp.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck is a cramp, doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Explain this word, a cramp. What is the definition of a cramp? What has been my observation, what has been other sisters' observation who experienced this based on what they're eating?
Mm-hmm.
It's a consumption of starch, starchy food, potatoes and rice and bread and cakes and biscuit, and it's all complex carbohydrates.
Mm-hmm.
Complicated food, like my brother talked about. He had arthritis and he changed his diet. Arthritis, doctor, what the heck is arthritis? Explain this to me. Hardening of the artery? What is it hardening with? So because you use these medical legalese, glorified terms, and call the thing an arthritis, you call getting stabbed, getting juked by a piece of cracked biscuit or bread that's dried out in a female body because she's menstruating and she's losing a lot of moisture, and that starch become brittle and breaks up like chalk, and the sharp edges rubs up against her tender mucus lining, and you call that a cramp. She don't see the association with what she ate that caused that. She don't know it's a dried out potato chip that cracked and rubbing up her against. She's stabbing herself with food as a weapon. And you use a medical legalese terminology to confuse her, and she don't know that it's all that potato she ate last month, that fried potatoes. And let's be specific, the McDonald's, that French fries that don't break down.
Yeah.
That people find the things hidden in the closet for over 20 years and the thing never broke down. It doesn't break down in your system either.
Mm-hmm.
It may dry out and dehydrate and get brittle and stab you, and you call it a cramp.
Yeah.
A lot of these types of stuff. But as a linguist, I can't let a lot of these things go by.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they come in today about beyond meat, first of all, what is the definition of meat? What is the original definition of meat? And those of you who are clutching your Bible, go into Genesis and read, "Behold, for I've given unto you the seed-yielding foods, and unto you they shall be your meat." Meat, the definition of the word meat is food. "Behold, for I've given unto you the seed-yielding foods, and unto you that shall be your meat." So your scriptures are telling you, if there is ever a law of food, it's right in your scripture and you missed it. Because you don't adhere to it today. And as religious as you are, as holy as you are, some of you don't eat meat because it's just about thou shalt not kill. But then everything else go. You put all kind of chemicals in your meat. And then you create texturized vegetable protein, fake meat. So this industry came out. The history of this industry, let's back up. There was a food revolution in America in the 1800s. And it's like we today don't even know it happened. And we going right back into it, talking about beyond meat and fake meat and texturized vegetable protein. The food revolution in the US in the 1850s was a Christian revolt against the standard American diet. And if you go back and you read the Adventist Manifesto on Food, Helen G. White, Counsels on Dietetics, this is the Seventh-day Adventist manual on diet, on eating. Why were they vegetarians back then? They became vegetarians. A lot of Christians became vegetarians because they saw the sad diet, the standard American diet, as a weapon. But the legacy of it that is lived on today got stranded at thou shalt not kill. So most of the Christians today are not eating meat based on thou shalt not kill. But everything else go. So so that whole texturized vegetable protein culture, a lot of it that we're experiencing today with this beyond meat It started in Loma Linda, California, with the Adventists creating the fake meat, the texturized, because thou shalt not kill. But back then they put a lot of chemicals in it. So you would see the products that came out of there. And you go to even the supermarket today, and you go to the vegetarian aisle in the supermarket where they have the fake stuff that's still in those cans.
Yeah.
There's like the Worthington brand and some of these other brands that came out of Loma Linda, California with the fake meat in it. And you would read that the ingredients in those cans, like there's one that's called country stew. And let's talk, these are factual stuff.
Yeah.
That we got blindsided, and a lot of us who thought we got out of the matrix, now they came back at us at a different angle talking about beyond meat. Because we're supposed to be vegetarian. We're supposed to got out of the matrix. And then they talking you a slut because you eat slutty burger. And these are words that they're actually using. And you're taking photos saying I'm a slut because I'm slutty. Words sound power. Be careful of what you say. That's why I have a lot of love for my brother Michael Jackson. When he said I'm bad, no mistaking. It don't mean that he's an idiot and he's stupid. He is wicked and bad. Don't mess with me.
I know that's right.
So we can give definition to words, but we know when you say I'm a slut, you know what that means. I'm slutty. You know what that means. That's a good
point. That's a very good point.
And you eat certain foods, you're going to be that. You are what you eat. You eat fowl, you eat chicken, you're going to be foul. You're going to smell foul. You eat fish, you're going to smell fishy. Please. Body odor. Decayed, putrefied animal flesh in our system. So in the 60s, we put a hurting on the cattle industry by becoming vegetarians in mass. And what did the cattle industry do? They ran for cover. They closed up and took the cattle fields and started growing soybean. And the soybean becomes the new pork on the block. And most of your texturized vegetable protein are based with soybean. Soy, defatted soy. Even in some of our neighborhoods today, they're still selling like chunks and mince. This is soybean that they took the oil out of to sell it as vegetable oil. Most of the oils that are labeled vegetable oil are soybean oil. But they can't use the word soybean because they know it's a curse word, especially in our communities. With the conscious group. We don't buy nothing soy. Sorry, soy. Soy is poison. So to eat these vegetable texturized protein that are based on soy and full of chemicals. And then they got you with this plant-based terminology. Yes, plant-based. Yeah, the soy is the plant. And that's the base. But what are they GMO and what are they layering it on top there? Spliced butterfly genes so your tomato can look reddish. Or whatever other genes they splice from other animals to put in the nanotechnology that they're putting in your food today. And that's an unregulated field. And this is another thing. You thought GMO was extreme. You thought irradiation and all of that was bad, and we protested and we got rid of that. Even the damn irradiation, now they're closing down all of the what they call those microwave processing plants. Microwave oven is finished at the end of this year. The universities in Japan have done research, and they've shown that microwave oven have killed more Japanese people than the bombs that were dropped in Pearl Harbor.
Good gracious.
The nuclear bombs, because microwave is based on waste energy from nuclear fuel. So they're outlawing microwave, and a lot of us are still using it, even in our restaurants. They're not going to produce any more microwaves, ovens anymore at the end of this year. Get up to date on technology and what's going on. And so all of you who've been using microwave to mess with your food, you all been irradiated. And no wonder why cancer is hitting our community so big. So get rid of those microwave ovens right now. It's a weapon. And you're eating the foods that are coming out of there that's been weaponized. You're nuking yourself. So listen, we got to get up to date. It's the
Indeed,
21st.
man.
It's the 21st century, y'all. It's the 21st century. Today we got juicers, blenders, food processors, and dehydrators. You don't have to kill your food.
Yeah.
You don't have to cook your quinoa. You don't have to cook your wild rice to pump water in them. You soak them, you hydrate them, you germinate them, you sprout them, you blend, you juice, you dehydrate.
Yeah.
And you can get the same textures, all of this. So this is the cuisine that I came up with, Sunfired Foods, ethical gourmet raw food cuisine. And this is based on terminology from the Oxford Encyclopedia of Food and Drink, who acclaimed me as the father of ethical gourmet raw food cuisine in America for having developed Sunfired Foods. Sun-fired cuisine is the food that is cooked by the sun. It's based on the principle that the sun is the only chef on this planet. And it goes back to our ancestral days when we used to talk about Ra being the sun god. So we don't call this raw food. We call it Ra food, R-A. R-A food. Foods that are cooked by the sun, by God.
Indeed.
So it takes a whole year for my banana to cook on the tree. Very meticulous. It takes a year for your apples to cook.
Yeah.
It takes a year for your watermelon to cook. Your watermelon, the watermelon vine is a water hose that strikes a spring underground and taps into an underground water spring and process that water through the watermelon vine, that watermelon hose, that watermelon plant, and turns the minerals in that water into an organic mineral. It turns the minerals in the earth are inorganic. The plants need to process those minerals and turn them into an organic form. So I got a cheerleader in the background, got the dog next door. Yo.
You know, no, and that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But look at that whole concept, that principle of number one. I have not drank water, as you know, water in over, what is it now? We're talking 44 years now. I don't drink bottled water, spring water, purified water, machine alkaline water, reverse osmosis, distilled water, none of those. My water comes directly from plants. The plant is the filter. Look at the coconut tree. Look at coconut water. This is what I got here. I got my gallon of coconut water. This is what I drink. I don't drink stagnant, empty, blank water. And you see the medical industry and the water cartel industry getting us to drink all this water, 8 glasses a day. I want 8 glasses of water with electrolytes. Coconut water has more electrolytes than any food on the planet. I want electrical water. So when we're talking about electrical food, the number one is coconut water. So how can you say I eat all electric food and I'm all alkaline and you boiling your food in water that has no electrical energy, dead water, and you boiling it too. You're making it dead or dead. You want living water. So we really respect and appreciate the works that Dr. Sebi has done, but Dr. Sebi only cracked the door.
Yeah.
And we're bringing you inside because it's about not just the electric food, it's the electromagnetic energies of food. Because every electrical current needs a grounding, needs a magnetic force. So the higher the food grows, the more electrical it is in nature. The highest grown food on the planet is the coconut tree, the coconut. And that young coconut, 100% water with no jelly in it, no meat, no flesh, no nothing. It's electrolytes, full of electrolytes. It's got more electrolytes than anything else. It's an electrical current. So I'm drinking this water here.
Well, that looks good too.
It's like needles and pins going in. It's like inner acupuncture.
Yeah.
and it's like a heat-seeking missile. And
Mm.
it's going in there, permeating all the bloodstreams, all the cells, going everywhere, and hooking me up, electrifying my body,
Mm.
waking me up. So that's why the first thing I drink in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
my coconut water. This is an inner shower,
Mm-hmm.
but I take a shot here. This is my inner. This is my shot for the day.
Okay.
This is passion fruit juice,
One of my
and
favorites.
no store bought passion fruit. This is passion fruit
Mm-hmm.
from the fresh passion fruit. And look, this little cap here is a tablespoon.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa! Wow. This is my inner body soap.
Mm.
So whether it's lemon juice, ginger juice, noni juice, mint juice, you want an inner shot.
Mm-hmm.
You want an inner body soap to go in first thing in the morning, and you want your shower water.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal clear coconut water.
Mm.
I know you've been taking your inner shower with coffee. How ridiculous. How absurd. When you open the shower head to take your external shower in the morning, if something came out of that shower looking like coffee, would you take that shower? And why are you putting coffee inside your body to take your inner shower in the morning? Boom. Fire burn coffee. That is a weapon. It's toxic. You want living water. You want crystal clear spring water from the coconut. I know you're living in a collision course with Mother Nature. You're living behind God's back. You're living where coconuts don't grow.
Yeah. Exactly.
You need to come back home to the tropics. If coconuts can't grow in New York City, I figured out I can't grow there either. So I bailed out.
I know that's
live
right.
where coconuts grow. I drink about 8 of these a day.
You know, it's interesting because we were before the people on IG Live came on. We were talking about Chadwick Boseman and just how he died of cancer. We just talking about sickness in general, and I, like the brother said, I was telling how I literally got rid of my arthritis because I read some information and ate right and it went away. I haven't had an issue since. But this is what this is where we were kind of going into. So once we're dealing with fasting, like you were saying, we were talking about earlier, like what are the benefits of fasting? How should we be fasting correctly? And what are the different methods of, the most beneficial and effective fasting?
Okay, the definition of the word to fast in the first place. It means to hold fast.
Okay.
So the classical definition of the word to fast means nothing goes past your lips. No water, no juice, no solid, no food, period. So when the ancient ones back in the mystery school in ancient Kemet said that they fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, they're being very specific. And when you go to sleep at night for 8 hours, did you know that you're actually going on a fast? Because nothing is going past your lips while you're sleeping for those 8 hours. No liquid, no solid, no water, no juice. So obviously the English language being correct, the language of the Queen, they said when you wake up in the morning, you're going to break your fast, or you're going to have your break fast. Break fast. So what is the definition of break fast? So here we go with linguistics again.
There we go.
So that's the implication that when you were sleeping at night, you're fasting. If you're breaking of your fast first thing in the morning with whatever you intake, you are fasting at night for 8 hours. So please divide your day, your daily cycle, divide it into 3 equal parts of 8 hours.
Okay.
The most obvious one that cannot be denied is those 8 hours when you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So for 8 hours when you're sleeping, you are fasting.
Okay.
You're shutting it down.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing goes past your lips. You should only be on the breath or eating oxygen while you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, you need to live in a place like where I'm living, where I'm at right now. I'm on the island of Tobago, 30 minutes off the coast of Panama, in the Pacific Ocean. I'm on a very small island, 5 square miles, and only 1% of it is paved. Only 1,500 of us live here. I live with my windows and doors wide open 24/7. So when I'm sleeping, I'm plugged into the universe. Oxygen. I'm breathing deep and eating oxygen. So there are 3 master food. Well, there's a master food group. Let's start that way.
Okay.
And the master food group has 3 nutrients in it: sunshine, oxygen, and water.
Mm-hmm.
Sunshine, oxygen, and water. So you're supposed to live where the sun shines, because you're supposed to be eating the sun. And you eat the sun through your skin. And it's reflected in your melanin hue. The more sunshine you eat, the more golden, the more toasted, the more bright, the more radiant. You glow like the sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's food. But obviously, since you cannot jump up or reach up and grab a bite off of the sun, you get it in a condensed form. Solar rays condensed into an apple, a peach, a passion fruit, a nectarine, a coconut, tomato, watermelon. You're eating sun drops.
Yeah.
So that's how you eat the sun, through the food that are condensed solar vibration. You're eating sunshine when you're eating a lemon. A lemon is a sunshine. When you eat an orange, a papaya, a peach, nectarine, pear, sun drops. Master food number 2, oxygen. You need fresh, clean, pure oxygen every day. Your first breath in life is your first meal. And your last breath in life is your last supper. You cannot live without oxygen.
Yep.
And that's why you need to live in an environment that's 99% green, oxygenated. You need to live not in a concrete jungle, but in a bush jungle. You need plants around you.
Yeah.
They're giving you oxygen. You give them back carbon. Our relationship with the universe is through the plants. And we eat their fruits to get sunshine. But the green leaf is the oxygen source. And all of them, when you're biting to an apple, you know, you take that apple out of your mouth, that whole apple with that bite in it, that's represented by this, you know, Apple technology here from Silicon Valley, an apple with a bite in it. You see that apple oxidizes immediately. When it comes into contact with oxygen, it begins to break down. This is what happens in your system. But now they got you taking antioxidants because you're eating foods that are not oxidizing or oxidizing in the wrong direction. So we thought we got out from the matrix and we got modern, and we taking all these so-called modern food delivery systems, superfoods and all of this kind of stuff. We have to be careful. So, and then master food number 3 is water. The body is 70% liquid, but not just any water. You want water direct from the plant. So you're talking your nutrients are coming direct from the plants. the leaves, the fruits, and the liquids. So a watermelon vine, as I say, is chopped into an underground spring and is pumping water out of that spring and packaging it in water bottles. You call those water bottles watermelon
Watermelons.
fruits. So that watermelon vine can run from your house and feed your neighbors a mile down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And every step of the way, every so many yards is a bottled water, a watermelon, a 20, 30, 40-pound watermelon that you can produce a gallon, 2 gallons of water. You didn't have to drink it. You just eat it and you're drinking because it's 99% water. That's why the damn queen and them call the thing a watermelon. It's melon-flavored water. So if you don't have coconut water, then your watermelon is your next best. It's the next most electrolytic, active food on the planet. So on and on. I can give you 600 hours of this science and still can't teach you enough. But we've been trying to pack it into 60 minutes. We've gone beyond 60 minutes and trying to give you a lot. But you divide that day into 3 equal parts, and that 8 hours when you're sleeping and you're fasting, the digestive system is supposedly getting a rest now.
Yeah.
So that the elimination systems have become active. Because the body cannot digest and eliminate simultaneously. So the amount of time we spend processing food on a daily basis, and those of us who are on the 3 meals a day click, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what a serious thing. How are they going to call the break fast a meal? You're supposed to be breaking your fast. So they turned, the bankers got a hold of our food basket. They hijacked it and created this meal that they call a breakfast. It's not a break fast, breaking of the fast. They called it a breakfast and made it into a meal. And what do they sell you? Cereal grains. Cereal grains. Most of your breakfast meals are made with cereal grains. Oats, barley, cornmeal, grits, you name it. Grains, cereal. Human beings are not cereal eaters by nature. We're not grain eaters by nature. We're not granivores.
Yeah.
We're supposed to let these foods grow into plants, these seeds grow into plants, and you eat the leaves. So rather than the wheat berry that you use to make bread, that back in ancient days, they used to call it the staff of life. In your scriptures, the staff of life, that bread. And you dig deep into your scriptures and find out who were the Essenes.
Indeed.
And this supposed Jesus came out of the Essenes. And the Essenes only ate raw food or raw food, sun-fired foods. And that bread was made with sprouted wheat, not the grain in its dried state. They sprout the wheat, activate it, break the starch down, the gluten, the glue, a complex carbohydrate, which is complicated sugar, as opposed to a simple carbohydrate, which is pure sugar. Fruits are simple carbohydrates. So passion fruit, grapes, watermelon, strawberries, apples, peaches, these are simple carbohydrates. These are fruit sugars. But a starch, like a grain, like wheat is your classical example. The dried wheat that they used to sprout back then and made the Essene wheat bread, ground and everything. Once you soak it, remove the enzyme inhibitors, you activate it, it comes to life because it germinates. The life force is in the germ, so it germinates and springs forward. Now it becomes a living food and it sprouts in 3 or 4 days, growing little roots out of it. And you take the sprouted wheat berries and you plant them in soil and you get wheatgrass. So you transform this magnetic food. That's why I say it's not just about the electrical foods. It's about the electromagnetic energies of plant foods. So say we gave you one face of the coin. The other face is the magnetic. Every electrical current need a grounding, need a magnetic force. The electrical energy is being affected by the pull of the sun that is pulling these foods up. The coconut tree is trying to reach the sunshine. The apple tree, the mango tree, reaching up for the sunshine. These are the electrical foods. So the higher the food grows, the more electrical it is in nature. All foods are growing above our arm's reach. They're electrical. And the magnetic foods are being affected by the gravitational pull of the earth. So you got these two opposing forces. The sunshine, foods are growing up to reach the sun. The magnetic gravitational pull of the earth are pulling foods down. They're trying to reach water.
Yeah.
So a potato is trying to find water. A yam, a tropical yam, a cassava, yucca is trying to find water. So it's growing deep. Some of them reach to their ultimate point and don't find the water, like the yucca, the manioc, the cassava. And it's just pure starch. So that's a complex carbohydrate, a complicated food that the body now needs to turn into a simple carbohydrate and make sugar out of it. Can you dig it?
100%.
Can you dig up a yam? Can you dig up a Jamaican yellow yam? Or a Jamaican Negro yam? Yeah, we call it Negro yam because it makes you damn Negro. Yeah. Granny got arthritis on the knees. She got water on the knees, and she could feel when it's getting cool, when it's getting cold, because her knees starts to grow.
Yeah.
She got Negro in feed. Her knee is growing.
Yeah.
So you brought her up to New York, and Granny is like, take me down to Florida in the winter.
Yeah.
I'll be a snowbird. I get my arthritis flares up here because the starch gets dry in the cold weather. My starch needs some heat. Starch need heat to keep it loose. But the minute it hits the cool weather, it gets dry.
Yeah.
And arthritis kick your butt. So you got to stop eating the starches.
Yeah.
So the group of foods that are starches, that are complex carbohydrate, your roots, especially the deep roots, the deeper the root, the more starch is in it. Your grains, the larger the grain, the more starch in it, or glue, and your beans. And check those three groups, those three subgrouping of the complex carbohydrate or the starchy foods. They all contain starch.
Okay.
Roots, beans, and grains. The deeper the root, more starch. The larger the grain, more starch. The larger the bean, more starch. The finer grain like quinoa, less starch. Millet, fonio from Africa. 5,000 years, over 5,000 years, we're eating fonio in Africa. It's a grain that you just steam it for 5 minutes and it's cooked. Or you just soak it overnight for 12 hours and it sprouts. Don't need to cook it. But when you start getting into the larger grain, the oats, the barley, the complex, so they're more complicated. So they now have to be turned into sugar, but once you cook them, they can't be broken down into sugar because you destroy the starch-splitting enzyme that would turn them into sugar.
Yeah.
They can't grow. You can't plant them and they're going to grow because you cook them. So you've severed their life force. You've terminated them. They're dead food. So when you're going to eat a cooked wheat berry into a bread, a loaf of bread from flour, today is no longer the staff of life, it's actually the staff of death. Because it's going to dry you out. And then tell me, how can you eat dry bread without butter? How can you eat a baked potato without buttering it?
Without butter, yeah.
How can you eat starch without greasing it? Without mayonnaise, lard, butter, oil? And that combination does not break down. The combination of starch and fat does not break down. A fried potato, French fries, as you say, we said earlier, people have found 20-year-old McDonald's French fries in the original box sitting there that are still edible today because they did not spoil, they did not break down. They will not break down in your system either.
Mm-hmm.
So arthritis, glaucoma, diabetes, all of these starch-related diseases. Alzheimer's, your brain drying up like a prune. At 75, they say I'm supposed to be borderline Alzheimer.
Yeah.
My brain is not drying up. My brain is actually expanding
Expanding. Yeah.
because I'm not eating foods that are clogging it up.
Killing
My
them.
blood vessels in my eyes are not full with starch. I don't have glaucoma. I got 20/20 vision at 75.
Mm-hmm.
So let's wake up. Let's come
Yeah.
on home. Come back home. Come back home.
Indeed.
We've been
Yeah.
astray.
I love it.
And so fasting, the word fasting, this is where we got into this, fasting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you fasting at night for 8 hours every time you go to sleep, you go to bed. What is the body doing during fasting mode? It is repairing itself. This is the reparation mode. For 8 hours, your body is focused on breaking down the dead cells that it can no longer utilize and building new cells for 8 hours. And the body cannot do that while the digestive system is active.
Mm-hmm.
The body cannot repair. You look at an infant baby, newborn baby, that baby be sleeping for days because it's doing construction work, it's building a body. And that baby don't want nothing to digest. Baby don't even have a digestive system for 2 years. It takes them 2 years to develop a digestive system. So baby wants to be breastfed by mother's milk exclusively for 2 years while they take their time and patience to develop their digestive system. So a lot of us today with faulty indigestion system, digestive system, have, acid reflux, all kind of acidosis, all kind of problem with our digestive system because it was developed falsely because we weren't breastfed 100% for 2 years to allow the digestive system to develop strong and effectively. And unfortunately, our digestive system is also the seat of our immune system.
Mm-hmm.
The immune system is in the digestive system, and the immune system is your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It's your hospital, it's your clinic, it's your medical force.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the body heals itself through the immune system. The human body is totally self-healing.
Yeah.
The human body and that is anchored in the digestive system, the immune system. So I got a low battery signal coming on this phone here. I'm going to go ahead and take the mic out.
Okay.
And plug my charger in. So the battery is coming back, but I'm not on mic. Can you hear me still on IG?
Yes, I can. The people out there, can y'all still? I can still hear you because I have you in here. But yeah,
Okay,
I can actually hear that. Yeah, you just have to turn your
Okay, so you
turn your
hear me
volume
good
down.
on IG. That's good.
Yes,
And I
sir.
think on YouTube they still hear me well. I turned the volume down on YouTube, so we're not getting the feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially now I'm not using the mic. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's so much more information I have to share with you. I see other people are trying to come in. People are trying to ask questions. I have a very live, active audience on my IG.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute I pop up, they're here. How many people do we have? I can't even tell how many people we have here right now. There's 146 people in the house right now on my IG.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I these days I don't do IG that much, so I'm glad that the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast had brought me in here and got us into IG simultaneous on the YouTube. You want to give them the .com here for the rabbit hole?
Oh yeah, it's Polka Dot. You got it, everybody. I put it in the comments. Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Yeah, go ahead and please follow me real quick and share this great information with the good brother because he's been dropping it today, and this has been it's been amazing. But go ahead, brother. Yeah, that's it. Polka Dot Rabbit podcast number 9. Go ahead and follow and share. Please share this information because this is it. This is the most important thing we have right now as a people, as humanity, is this health. But go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to get back to the whole fasting thing and looking at these 3 the body goes through a 3-phase cycle every day. So we know we're fasting while we're sleeping at night. Actually, when you're sleeping at night, you're actually putting the body in the body shop.
Okay. Oh, okay.
This is when the body does its repair work. It's really checking all valves, all arteries, all systems, circulatory, respiratory, all systems are being checked. Anything that needs some repair work, the immune system is working on that, taking care of that. And anything that it can't really fix right away, they turn into mucus and develop a whole bunch of white blood cells, which is like the military force coming to attack the enemy that you ate. So the mucus forming foods are very, they produce white blood cells that are generally the attack force, the military force that the body generates, trying to eat up this filth that you ate that became mucus forming. So we have to be careful. One of our problem is we don't have the proper understanding of the body. Yeah. We did not come with a body owner's manual, and they don't teach it to us in school. And parents, they got a miseducation, so they couldn't even pass anything on to us on that level. But whatever useful thing they've passed on, we have definitely locked in. So the 3-phase cycle. So ideally, before Columbus and the pirates came to this island, the sun goes down at 6 p.m. and it rises at 6 a.m. every morning. Okay. So within 2 hours after sunset, by 8 p.m., everybody on this island is going to sleep. And a lot of them are still practicing that today. And at 4 a.m., you hear the rooster crowing. The cock is crowing at 4 a.m., waking the town to tell the people, I feel the energy of the sun. God is coming. It's rocking our horizon. So the natural time to be sleeping is between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. Okay. And from 4 a.m. to 12 noon, the body now goes into elimination phase. Okay. Which is supposed to be the break fast mode. So within this phase, you're going to break your fast. Okay. And you got some group of people out here today call themselves the keto force, and they call it like an intermittent fasting. There's no intermittent fasting. Get your linguistics together. You've been fasting all night. And if you still fast until 11 o'clock, that is not intermittent. That is an extended fast. And this is what we've been saying. See, look, I break this stuff down. I break this stuff down on this poster here. So this poster, you can get it at sunfired.com. And we break it down. You see the sunshine in there? That's the master food group, number 1. Oxygen is written inside there. And then you got your 4 major food groups here. So it breaks it down, your daily cycle, weekly cycle, lunar cycle, seasonal cycle, and how all of this interrelates. So with the daily cycle is what we're talking about today, that 3-phase cycle, fasting for 8 hours while you're sleeping at night. And when you wake up in the morning, you're breaking the fast. And it's not a meal. It is an 8-hour phase, and it's elimination. The body is now poised to eliminate in the morning from 4 a.m. to 12 noon. So as the sun rises, you rise with the sun. As the sun burns the clouds out of the sky, it burns the mucus out of your body. So it's elimination time. Yeah. So the meal that they created to call the breakfast meal, which is full of cereal, starch, grains, hash brown, potatoes, you're talking starch, it's corn flakes and all of this thing, Captain whoever and all of them other something, sugar dusting bowls, this and all of those things, crunchings and all starches, complex carbohydrate. These are building foods. These are not foods to clean your body out in the morning. When your body is eliminating in the morning for 8 hours, that's the last thing you need is a bowl of cereal. Yeah. To activate your digestive system like that, while the elimination system is, you're supposed to be actually emptying the trash bin for 8 hours. You should be defecating. You should be sweating. You should open up your largest organ of elimination, your sweat glands, your skin. Get out there. Do your clay. Do your swimming. Do your running. Climb your coconut tree. Do yoga for a cause, not because. Don't ritualize it. walk. Some of you going into the gym, no oxygen in there. Be careful. Come on now. Outdoor, use your gym. Climb a tree. Do coconut yoga. Climb your but you're living in places where there are no damn coconut trees. Well, at least get on a damn trampoline. Or do some kind of running, jogging, anything. Jump rope, skip rope, something. That cardiovascular energy. But sweat in the morning. Pour it out. And don't break your fast with cereals. Don't break your fast with a breakfast. It is totally unscientific. You read any book on fasting. The most crucial part of fasting is the breaking of the fast. And it's absolutely unscientific to break a fast with faking bacon and granola and tofu. It's tough for you. And it's not for you to break your fast with grits, cornmeal porridge, oats, oatmeal cookie, Captain Runch, or whoever he is. All of these things, filling up your little baby's tummy and sending them to school full of starch. Then they try to burn it, and the teacher said the child is hyperactive. Put them in the behavior section of the group. Because the child is trying to process that cornmeal, trying to process the grit, the pancakes. That's the last thing your baby needs in the morning is a tummy full of starch to go to school while the teacher wants the blood up on the brain. You bring it down to the digestive system. So the best thing to break your fast with in the morning from 4 a.m. to 12 noon, you want fruits. Fruit juices and whole fruits, coconut water. These are the electrical food. You want to stay high in the morning. You want to reach up high. These are the cleansing food. You want coconut water. You want the food with the most electrolyte. You want foods that are not going to activate your digestive system. Because the digestive system is going to pull the blood down there to digest that meal. So when that comes down, it's going to interfere with your immune system, your healing system. So you're not going to complete your healing. You're actually going to abort it by opening up the digestive system. Your stomach is this size. The size of your stomach is the size of your clenched fist. And when in the morning, after that stomach empty out from fasting at night, it comes back to this rudimentary state. And you want to open that stomach in the morning gradually, slowly, hose it out, wash it out, scrub it out, clean it out before you start to put a load in there. So breaking of the fast, electric foods, coconut water, orange juice, watermelon juice, bowls of fresh fruit, liquids and fiber. That's all you need to facilitate the elimination period. The starches and the protein, a big protein shake in the morning, come on, those are building food. The body is not in a building mode in the morning. You short circuit the elimination. So you end up stocking up and you get blown up because you're eating starches in the morning and you become inflamed. Or what they call inflammation. You end up with inflammation. They give these things, these glorified names. You're just blown up like a balloon. You're stuffed up. You're full of stuff, stuffy food, stuffing. You stuff like a turkey. And what do you stuff your turkey with? Grains, right? Starch. And why do you feel stuffed up and stuffy after you eat those things? Because they're not digesting, they're not breaking down. And the third phase of your day from 12 noon to 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., that's the intake mode. That's when you're going to put in your building materials. Protein, the building blocks. And I recommend you keep the starch off the plate. Don't eat no starch. And take a note out of the USDA. My plate that was developed by, what's her name? That young lady, Michelle Obama. She changed the U.S. Nutrition system from the pyramid system to the My Plate concept. And on the My Plate, she took out all that stuff with meats and heavy protein and cheese and starch and all of that. She don't even put starch on that. My Plate, 50% of My Plate, the U.S. Nutrition Guideline said that 50% of your plate should be fruits and vegetables.
Hmm.
Did you miss that?
Yeah. And they telling you
Fresh
that.
fruits and vegetables is no longer the pyramid. It's no longer 5
Hmm.
servings of fruits and vegetables for the day. It
Hmm.
is 50%. Half of your whole eating should be fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yep.
That's what the USDA recommends. And then the other half of your plate, what did she put on there? Protein. She did not
Hmm.
say animal protein. She did not say
Hmm.
no flesh, no fish, no chicken, none of that.
Hmm.
So she's giving you the option to be a vegetarian.
Vegetarian, right off the rip. Yep.
And excuse me, those of you who always looking to get picked up by the robot, I don't use the word vegan to
Hmm.
describe what I'm doing. I'm not a vegan. That's a curse word as far as I'm concerned. Here we go with linguistics again.
Yeah.
I am a vegetarian. I'm not supplanting the word vegetarian to use vegan. I've been a vegetarian for 53 years. I'm not eating no animals.
Hmm.
And I'm not a vegan. A vegan is people who don't eat animals because of animal rights.
Yeah.
I'm not in the animal rights movement. And if I am in the animal rights movement, I'm an animal before I need to look out of this animal that I live in.
Yeah.
I don't live in a house. I live in this animal, this body. I live in this animal here. So animal rights begin with me, my human rights. And my human rights tells me that if I eat animals, I'm going to get sick.
Yeah.
So looking out for this animal first, the other animals don't need to worry about me, especially the ones that run away from me or try to chase me down. They don't want that kind of relationship with me. They don't want to be in my gut.
Hmm.
The chickens don't want to be in my gut. The fish don't want to be in my gut. The turkey, the cow, the goat, they don't want to be in my gut. They either chase me down or run away from me. So when it comes to animal rights, I leave them alone. And I don't discriminate and classify some of them as pets and others as food.
Yeah.
Because in some places, the same ones you call pet, they're eating them
Same
as
thing.
food.
Yep.
Dogs, cats. So I leave them out there in nature. They're not in my bed. As an animal right, looking for my right as an animal, I'm not going to lay down with a pig or a dog in my bed. You sleep with certain things, you're going to wake up with, certain
Yep.
things.
Hmm.
No
a good way to put it.
disrespect, no disrespect to my brothers and sisters who got their pets and who got the ones they call foods. No, to me, they're just, their animal rights. I need to look out for them.
Yeah.
So and the best way for me to look out for them is to look out for my animal rights.
Hmm.
Because otherwise, I open the gate
Hmm.
for people who eat animals and call themselves lacto-ovo vegetarians. What the heck is a damn lacto-ovo vegetarian? Either you're a vegetarian or not.
Or not. Yeah.
You never almost, a woman is never almost pregnant. She's either pregnant or she's not.
Hmm.
So if you accept the terminology lacto-vegetarian, excuse me. I know a lot of pork vegetarians.
Yeah.
So if you eat pork and vegetables, you should be a pork vegetarian. If those that are eating eggs, which are abortion, ovos, if they're ovo vegetarians, what the heck?
Yeah.
Then the chicken vegetarians should be respected too.
Yeah.
Even the ones that eat dog meat should be dog vegetarian.
Because
Dog vegetarians or whatever. But let's not, some of this stuff may sound silly and irrelevant and insignificant, but here we go with language.
Yeah.
Here we go with language. They have ripped off the word vegetarianism. They've ripped off the word natural. They've ripped off the word organic. They've ripped off the word whole. And holistic is now without a W. It's just with an H. It's like you're getting your life with holes in it. So all of these things, old school linguist, old school vegetarian, a student of Ebonics, I just don't take things so lightly.
Yeah.
And I understand what's going on. The word vegan was coined by this Englishman in 1942 to distinguish between vegetarians who eat animals and those who don't,
Mm-hmm.
who are basically animal rights
Yeah.
people. And that's it. I'm not into the animal rights, as I mentioned to you, so I'm not a vegan. And animal rights veganism does not end at just not eating meat. You know, it's a lot of other stuff, not using anything with urea in it, animal piss, you know, not using mink and leather and all of these things that are, or using stuff that's been tested on animals. So I am a vegetarian, still a vegetarian to my heart, and I'm not a vegan, and I'm not plant-based because I'm just eat plant foods, and I came from plant to planet because I'm a student of, you know, these African principles
Yeah.
of why we should be mindful of what we eat and
Mm-hmm.
stop eating weapons. So how can the body eliminate while it's digesting?
Mm-hmm.
So coming back to fasting, the whole idea now is to go beyond the daily cycle and fasting once a day for 8 hours while you're sleeping. So I recommend next step is to fast once per week,
Okay.
1 day a week. And as you see, has been practiced in certain religions, like the Adventist religion, they go back to the tradition stuff. I told you they kicked off in the 1800s with this whole principles and observing that Sabbath, fasting on Sabbath and Saturdays. You know, for me, it's not a 24-hour fast
Mm-hmm.
because this is not a spiritual fast necessarily as a religious fast. They're very spiritual fast, and I give them credit for that. The fast that I'm talking about is a therapeutic fast. You know, they would do their fast from sunset Friday and break it at sunset Saturday. That's a
Mm-hmm.
24-hour fast. But in my school of knowledge, from the ancient mystery school, you don't break your fast at the end of the day, a therapeutic fast. Maybe you accomplish your spiritual goal by doing a 24-hour set fast. But
Mm-hmm.
now today we see they have fish fries after the fast on Saturday, or
Mm-hmm.
chicken eat up or something, and they eat too much food after the
Mm-hmm.
fast. That's their situation, but they have achieved their goal spiritually, and I give them a big hands up for that. But my goal is therapeutic fast. It's healing through fasting because it's about shutting the digestive system down so that the immune system can take on the force that it needs to take on and be the authority it needs to do because the body is not bogged down digesting. So we
Mm-hmm.
want to do a 36-hour fast. So you start that fast on Friday evening if you're
Mm-hmm.
going with the Sabbath as your fasting day,
Yeah.
and you break the fast on Sunday morning. So obviously you got a jump start because normally Friday night you're fasting on your daily fast. Saturday night you're fasting on your daily fast. So you already got 16 hours under your belt that you normally fast every night anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
it's about looping 2 fasting nights together
Mm-hmm.
and do a 36-hour fast, and you break your fast at the break fast hour in the morning. You don't break a fast scientifically at the end of the day. That's why using the word breakfast rather than break fast, we miss
Mm-hmm.
the point. So let's be mindful of linguistics again, how we say
Mm-hmm.
things. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not a breakfast, it's a breaking of the fast. It's a break fast, and you do that at the break fast hour. So you want to break your fast in the mornings. So ideally, the type of eating that I practice is what we call the daylight dining.
Okay.
And daylight dining is basically you only eat between daylight hours.
Mm.
So typically between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So that's why, you know, you shut it down. Your last meal at 6 p.m. You go to bed at 8 because you need 2 hours for that meal to leave your digestive system, leave the stomach, so that it's not in the stomach while you're laying down at night, so that the body can get on with its other processes, its repair work. And the immune system is where that happens. So if the stomach, if the digestive system is busy processing a meal, then you're not going to get to do any repair. So digestion have to stop so that reparation and ultimately elimination takes place.
Yeah.
So when you wake up in the morning from 4 a.m. to 12 noon and that elimination period there, the 2 first hours you're not eating from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. But from 6 a.m., now you start to open up the stomach to receive food, but you want to do it gently. You're not starting off with that big bowl of even fruits. The first thing you want to do, take your inner shower. The same thing like your first act in the morning, you normally want to take your external shower. Please couple that with the inner shower as well. And it's best to do the inner shower after the external shower. Because you want the systems now to be able to move the outer crud, and that's the external shower. Open up the pores. You can feel it when you get onto that shower in the morning. You can feel that refreshing, that rejuvenation, that renewing of just being on the water.
Yeah.
And then when you get out of there, you have your inner body soap, aloe vera juice, noni juice, lemon juice, passion fruit juice. I got to get me another hit here. I got to drink some more coconut water. I'm dehydrating. All this talking for a couple of hours now, but let me jump this passion shot back in.
Go ahead, brother.
Well, you notice I shot it too far back and it went beyond the throat.
That was a 3-pointer.
Went into the back pipe.
Yeah.
So, but my inner shower water, coconut water will clear that up, clear up the back pipe and everything.
It is another thing that from watching your videos and stuff, and just me doing myself. Now, as far as dealing, because we got, I appreciate you building that on the fasting as well. Now, as far as receiving food, is there much of a difference between the juicing and the smoothies?
Oh yes, big difference.
Okay.
Juicing does not require the activation of the digestive system.
Okay.
It is pure filtered water.
Yeah.
No fiber, no pulp. A smoothie with body in it, with fiber, with pulp, is going to activate the digestive system.
Gotcha.
So once the digestive system becomes activated, the eliminatory system takes a back seat.
Okay.
So that's the whole purpose of the art of fasting, is to not activate the digestive system, so that the eliminatory system have its space, have its time to do his work. Wow, that passion went right down the gullet.
That makes a lot of sense. It makes just scientifically, it just makes sense.
So the thing is, you don't want to activate the digestive system. So today, when we use the word fasting, we use it loosely. It is no longer adhering to the classical definition of the fast. It is more now about not activating the digestive system. So when we're still drinking in the morning, we're still fasting.
Okay.
So you drink as much as you can in the morning, and
Mhm.
then when you put in solid food, that's when the fast breaks.
Mm.
That's when you break the fast. So I've not had any solid food yet for the morning. I've
Mhm.
just been drinking, and now it's 12, what, it's 12:26 where I am.
Yeah.
Wow, we've been on for a couple of hours plus.
Almost two and a
So
half, but it's
obviously
cool.
we got to bring this to a close soon.
Yeah. Mhm.
Uh so anyway, so the whole thing is, so now the keto post will say that I'm on an intermittent fasting. I'm not intermittent. I'm extending my fast.
Mhm.
So I've gone beyond even 12 noon and I'm still fasting.
Mhm.
This is not an intermittent fast, this is an extended fast.
Mhm.
Until I put solid food that requires the activation of my digestive system, then I've broken my fast. Coconut water does not require digestion. And
Mhm.
this is the whole point of juicing. So now, when we're fasting and we're drinking juices, ideally, for the day of fasting on Saturday, you want to drink a whole gallon
Okay.
of juices, including coconut water.
Oh.
We have a problem or a a miscommunication issue when we call this passion fruit juice.
Mhm.
This is passion fruit water.
Mhm.
Orange juice is not orange juice as we think of juice.
Yeah.
It is orange flavored water. Watermelon is melon flavored water.
Mhm.
Watercress is a plant that grows by the spring. Watercress pops up at the head of a spring and it filters the water. And it's very bitter because it became a filter. So
Mhm.
we use it as a cleanser, as a bitter. That's why bitters clean us out.
Mhm.
But we call it watercress because it's a water processing filter.
Mhm.
So when you juice it and you're getting the water out of it, you're getting a potent cleanser, a potent inner body soak. That's how powerful it is that it processes toxins out of water. This plant.
Mm.
So it's amazing. You have the spring water running right through the watercress right there at the head of the spring.
Mhm.
So yeah, that kind of water you're fine.
Mhm.
But you're getting it at the head of the spring where it's being coming through the spring, filter the watercress plant.
Mhm.
But once you start drinking water that comes straight out of the earth that hasn't been processed or filtered like that, then we have a problem with water. Because
Mhm.
now we have inorganic minerals in it that are going to be setting in the body. But let's stick on the fasting and let's wrap it up.
Mhm.
Now, once you get into your afternoon, say now from 12 noon to 8 p.m.,
Mhm.
the third, the third phase of your daily cycle, then now we're putting in the building food between 12 noon and 8 p.m.
Mhm.
or 12 noon and 6 p.m. because we want to stop eating at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay.
So this is where you're going to have your protein, your major building block.
Mm.
And your protein foods, plant protein, are generally the ones that are high in fat.
Mhm.
So your nuts, your seeds, the ones that you can make oil out of,
Okay.
almond oil, olive oil from a fat, peanut oil. It's just a pea, but it's high in protein
Mhm.
rather than high in starch. All of your other peas are higher in starch, twice the amount of starch.
Mhm.
And other peas are high in protein that don't have the starch, like the green peas, the split peas, the
Yeah.
lentils.
Mhm.
So we have to really know food a little better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
taking this time out and giving you this knowledge, this science about food is very critical.
Indeed.
before we go in the kitchen and give you the science, the art of the food, how to create it. So probably the next time we get together, let's do a kitchen session.
Mm-hmm.
But let's wrap this science here by looking at that third phase of our day, when you're putting in your building material so that when you go to bed at night now, the body has building blocks to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So protein. So generally we use protein and starch. These are the magnetic food, the builders. Protein builds the body by stacking muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Starch builds the body by stuffing it, by blowing it
Mm-hmm.
up.
Yeah.
So be careful with your starch as builders. This is where the inflammation takes place.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually stuffers. So we don't highly recommend the starches, the complex carbohydrates.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually omit those foods from your eating program 100%, because the body has to turn rice into sugar.
Mm-hmm.
It has to turn, grains into sugar. It has to turn roots into sugar.
Mm-hmm.
It has to turn beans into sugar. So the whole process of soaking the wheat berry, germinating it, sprouting it, planting it, and growing it into a grass, wheatgrass, you've moved the wheat from the building magnetic group with the starches, you turn it into a grass, and now it becomes a vegetable. So you got that other group now. So you got your fruits that are sugar-based, you got your protein that are fat-based, you have your complex carbohydrates that are starch-based.
Starch. Mm-hmm.
The simple carbohydrates are your fruit, they're sugar-based.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have this fourth group, which is called the vegetables.
Okay.
The vegetable is the group that does not contain concentration of sugar, fat, or starch. None of the three of them. So your vegetables are all your green leaves or vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
Your non-starchy vegetables, which are cauliflower and broccoli and things of that nature. Your vegetable fruits like cucumber, tomatoes, eggplant, you name it. Vegetable fruits. So that's your vegetable group. So this is the neutral group. This is the stable group. This is the balancers, the stabilizers. This is the group that I call the electromagnetic foods. So you have the electrical foods growing above the arm's reach. That's your fruits, high in moisture.
Mm-hmm.
You have the magnetic foods generally growing beneath your arm's reach, your roots, your grains, your beans.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's some exceptions to these principles, like the watermelon grow on a vine, run on the ground. The vine can't hold up a watermelon 100 feet up into the sky, but it can run it 100 feet down or on along your yard. So, but it's still electrical because it's high in moisture and it's high in sugar. So your magnetic foods that are growing underground themselves and are high in moisture, like your root vegetables that grow close to the surface of the earth, the carrot, the beets, turnips, parsnips, radish, high in moisture, they're juiceable, so they don't have the starch. So they may be magnetic, but they're on the low end of the scale, so they're not builders. Onion, garlic, these root vegetables, they're not even classified on the roots anymore, on the starch. The onions or garlic are classified on the vegetables. But all of your other roots are classified on the starch. Some are light, the carrot, the beets, the turnips, that are high in moisture. But the deep roots, that's the problematic group.
Yeah.
Anything from pretty much the sweet potato on down. And the body has to turn them into sugar. And again, we mentioned the grains and the beans as well. The grains and the beans, they have 70% starch and 30% protein on average. So you got to get through twice the amount of starch before you get to the protein in the beans.
Good stuff. Yep.
So this science is very crucial. So if you're going to eat the starch, if you're going to eat the complex carbohydrates, at least number one, don't eat them on the same plate with your protein. The meat and potato, that's out the door.
Yeah.
That is unscientific eating. Protein and starch do not digest in the same medium. So you got to keep them as separate meals. Have protein for lunch with vegetables, the electromagnetic foods, and starch or the complex carbohydrate for dinner. So you have it here. Starches for dinner with vegetables, protein for lunch with vegetables, but not meat and potato on the same plate. Even you that are non-vegetarians, if you're going to eat meat, eat it with vegetables, not with rice, not with potato, not with starch. And you can still eat your starch, but don't eat it with the meal, with the protein.
Yeah, the
Have it
protein.
for dinner so two separate meals, and each of those meals will take 4 hours to digest. This is a crime.
Yeah.
Eating 3 meals a day that takes 4 hours to digest each, and you got 2 of them. You got one that's in the morning that's mostly all starch with some meat on it. Cereals, hash brown with some bacons.
Eggs.
And then you got 2 more coming lunch and dinner with a little meat and a whole more bunch of starch. And the starch and the meat cannot be separated, even if it's plant-based. Even if it's slutty, it can't be separated. From the meat and the bread cannot be separated, the starch and the protein. So when the Germans engineered that burger and they put lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, mustard, mayonnaise, onion, that's for digestibility between the bread and the meat. So you need at least 20% raw food to digest those things. Keep them separate. Have the burger meat for lunch with vegetables. Have the burger bun for dinner with vegetables. Why do you think the Germans put sauerkraut in the hot dog? Digestive protein, the fermented cabbage, to digest the meat and the bread and the
Help it out. Yeah.
over there. So thanks for coming home. And I wish I could give you a whole lot more. The science has said 600 hours of profound information. Sunfired.com is my website. My brothers put it up. Sunfired.com. And now we have the arislatham.com, the Aris Academy, where we have online courses now. Indeed. Online video courses, recipes. We're giving away recipes, literally. There. We have Sunfired TV on the Academy. So that's our recipe vault. We're posting a lot of recipes on there. It's an annual subscription. So when you pay your fee for Sunfire TV, it's not a one-time thing. It's annual. You have to renew it every year if you want to keep getting new recipes on a constant basis. So, sharing this information with you on this level, it's been an honor, a privilege to be able to expound on this. I really wasn't ready for this, to spend almost 3 hours with my brother like this. But, I live a real life.
Yeah.
And it was just the reality of my day. And this is how I get shaped and built and structured, because this is my turn. As a human being, I'm not going to run around here trying to live like I'm living in Kemet a few thousand years ago. Yeah. I want to run around here living like how I live now. It's my turn to live this life. I love Selassie, bless Selassie, Jesus, Moses, Buddha. They did it. I can do it. It's my turn to God myself.
Indeed.
And I'm focused on my revolution, and my revolution for my evolution has been through food, plant food, clean food, fresh food, gourmet food, anti-disease food. I'm not sick. And you see that? I got a big gash here, big thing here, and this is only a week ago, and it's pretty much self-healing. Self-healing. So thank you so much, my brother, for this wonderful opportunity. And, You know, it's very challenging on me these days. I get a lot of requests for these
Hmm.
types of programs. I turn down a lot of interviews, don't really have the time.
Hmm.
But when I carve out this time, we're cutting into my students' time.
Okay.
So ideally, the best way to connect with me is to come to Panama.
Hmm.
You know, some folks, when is the book is coming out? The book has been out. I am the book. I'm a living book. You need to come and read me.
Indeed.
Okay. So come to Panama, come to the Institute, come and get certified. Come and study the food art, the food science, and don't get sick.
I'm gonna take that your invitation and I'm gonna run with it. So you know you're gonna be seeing me soon. The brother was telling you earlier. We've been on here a while. Everybody on our IG Live. If y'all don't know, the brother was breaking down some very important history. It's on the YouTube channel. Of course, y'all follow and share this video. Follow Polka Dot Rabbit. But if you go to YouTube, you'll see when the brother was breaking down some history y'all might even know about Panama and some other things as well. Because this is like what brother about half. This is probably half the full video on IG. Correct? Would you say probably right about?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
I was saying it's probably about half. The IG picked up people probably picked up half of the video because they didn't get the other half because we came in a little late. So
Yeah. He
yeah,
got about
it's a kind of a
half.
part two thing. YouTube got the whole thing on there, but um, we got most of this the nutritional aspects on the IG Live. I don't want to cut into the brother's time because I know he got his students out there and he's doing his thing. I appreciate you all your time, Iris, and
All
you
right,
will be
my
seeing me.
brother.
You're gonna be seeing me sooner than later,
Well, thank you so
most
much for
definitely.
the opportunity, and you
Indeed,
keep strong. And
indeed,
bless you, my audience. You know, our
hmm
audience. It's been an honor to share with you today.
indeed. Again, follow, share Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. I got his information, sunfire.com on here. Peace and love, everybody, and y'all have a great, great day.